Denmark, take this piece. UK, you take this. US will keep this in France. Come on, you fought for it, man. This sounds a bit dramatic, so time to get serious. We will tell you all about the partition, but before that, if you're a fan of non-corporate funded free news and analysis, you've landed on the right YouTube channel. We publish 3 videos a day, first at 9:15 a.m. EST, second at 1:30 p.m. EST, and the third at 5:30 p.m. EST. So if that's of interest to you, stay away from people who auction your stuff on eBay and then ask you how shipping works. Okay, let's begin. Maria Zakharova, the Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman, issued a stern warning regarding the partition of Ukraine, a notion that has been further elaborated upon in the context of statements from Western leaders, including French President Emmanuel Macron. She contends that the discussions within NATO circles about deploying contingents or paramilitary units in Ukraine signal an intention to partition the country, basically an occupation. However, the nature of this partition is anticipated to diverge significantly from historical precedents or straightforward territorial claims. The emerging scenario appears to be more nuanced. Instead of a formal redistribution of land, it is more plausible that Ukraine's western neighbors, influenced by economic and political greed, would avoid the formal incorporation of territories. The likely outcome, should there be an intervention by a coalition of the willing, would not be a clear-cut division of Ukraine among neighboring states. Rather, an asymmetrical partition seems probable, wherein these states might establish spheres of economic influence within Ukraine. This approach, under the guise of protecting strategic borders, would effectively create a de facto partition akin to the division of Korea, standing in contrast to any formal annexation of territories. Romanian President Klaus Iohannis's recent statements eliminate the nuanced position of NATO with regard to the situation in Ukraine. He clarified that while NATO as a collective entity cannot intervene in Ukraine due to its non-allied status, individual member states retain the autonomy to engage bilaterally if they choose. Furthermore, France and the United Kingdom are speculated to be orchestrating maneuvers to bolster their influence in Ukraine, potentially at the expense of Germany. This is perceived as a strategic effort to forestall Germany's ascent to superpower status, which the United States might otherwise support as part of its broader strategy to counter Russian influence in Europe, simultaneously as it shifts its focus towards Asia in a bid to contain China's rise. Amidst these developments, there are reports that G7 is contemplating the appointment of a special envoy to Ukraine. This move is a blatant effort to advance Klaus Schwab's Davos agenda within Ukraine, suggesting a concerted international effort to reshape the country's future trajectory in line with broader geopolitical and economic interests. In a significant declaration at the World Economic Forum in May 2022, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky had proposed a distinctive model for the nation's reconstruction. This model envisages a form of international stewardship where partner countries, cities, or corporations are afforded the opportunity to assume patronage over specific regions, cities, communities, or industries within Ukraine. This proposition has already seen affirmative responses from prominent international actors like Britain, Denmark, and the European Union, each committing to a particular domain of patronage in the country's reconstruction efforts. It's like selling a nation piece by piece. The entities that have committed to patronage would inherently have a vested interest in safeguarding their respective regions of oversight from Russian advances that could precipitate Ukraine's collapse and potentially result in a regime change. This protective stance saves Zelensky from being ousted at a very small cost of selling his own country. Formally reincorporating territories lost by Ukraine's western neighbors post-World War II is improbable, largely due to the profound demographic transformations these areas have undergone. That's why the establishment of spheres of economic influence emerges as a more feasible outcome, thanks to WEF. All of this will be done under the publicly declared objective of supporting Ukraine against Russian aggression. But who are they fooling really? Exploiting economic resources and providing limited security support without fully integrating the regions or the populations offers the best of the both worlds. So the assessment by Maria Zakharova suggesting that partitioning plans are being considered is right on the target. In this video, we briefly touched base with the UK-France tango against Germany. If you wish to know more about it, here is a dedicated video.